Welcome to the ARC Open House on Saturday, September the 18th, 2021. Let me take this off of screen share. My name is Jay Carpenter. I'm the founder of Desert Blockchain, and we are at Desert Blockchain Camp in Phoenix, Arizona. And I welcome you to this session. We have these sessions every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Basically, the first hour will be a sort of a workshop. And today we have Shane Sandler of Crypto Cannoneer talking about NFT markets or non-fungible token markets. And that'll be from 11 a.m. to noon. And then from noon to 1 p.m., we have lunch here at the Desert Blockchain Camp, and we provide pizza for folks that attend. And then at 1 p.m., we will have about a 15-minute session with Chad Eylander on his view of non-fungible token markets and a little insight there. And then from 1:15 to 2 p.m., we'll be talking about the Applied Research Center's what's currently at 5.5 million in matching funds for blockchain projects and wearables over a 2-year period. We did a session on this on July 28th, 2021. You can see that recording in the Desert Blockchain YouTube channel. And we'll be talking about that. The applications for that will open on, I believe, September 25th and go through October 31st. And all applications submitted during that time period will be considered submitted at the same time. So we also, this coming Wednesday, September the 22nd at 7 p.m., we'll be having our monthly session where we'll be showcasing whatever projects have emerged, whatever folks are interested in forming a team, and they'll be talking about what their project idea is, what they might need, and so forth. And so you can find that on meetup.com, desert/desert-blockchain. And by the way, there's a lot of information below this YouTube in the notes, a presentation that you can take a look at, and so forth. So if you're watching this or the recording of it, I would recommend that you take a look at the notes under this YouTube section for additional information. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Shane Sandler of Crypto Cannoneers and Blockchaingerous, who will talk about NFT markets and his view on it. He'll also talk about the target range that he's created that's tied to the Stellar network, which is really, really cool. And we'll go from there. So let me turn it over to Shane. Shane, go ahead.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah, welcome back to another Desert Blockchain Educational Saturday session here, live stream. I'm Shane, Blockchaingerous, and here we go. I'm going to give you a little demo of Crypto Cannoneer here if you're unfamiliar with it, and then we'll be diving into NFTs and NFT marketplaces and a bunch of fun stuff there. So the stream that you're seeing behind me here is actually the live stream gallery. It's actually just to my right in physical space here. And these turrets can be controlled by anyone, anywhere over the internet. So you can use Telegram Messenger here to send messages to these, and then they have Raspberry Pis on them that interpret those messages and actually move everything around. This main screen here is a tennis ball launcher. So I'll go ahead and arm it, and here we go. I am really entertained by this, as you can tell, and that just reloaded up there. And we'll go ahead and fire off another shot here. We'll just go ahead and move this around. The Telegram chat is open for anyone. It's t.me/cannoneers. And you can join that. This is free to play. Anyone can join in and play along. And we keep these running 24/7 so that anyone can enjoy these. As Jay mentioned, they are tied into the Stellar network. And so as you can see here in the chat, it is showing that it's actually awarding a turret token, which turret token is a custom token on the Stellar network that I created. And so you can go to /account here, and that will give you your account information. And then you can go ahead and take a look and see the tokens that you're earning. And this actually all relates to the greater NFT space, because in this game, achievements, and just like you would, you'd be able to accomplish in-game achievements in a regular game, in this one, you can earn NFTs as your achievements. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off this generator or this air compressor here real quick. There we go, get a little bit quieter there. So yeah, NFTs are going to be a major part of this game and in-game achievements, and they'll also be yield bearing so that you can earn the in-game currency, more turret token, which will be needed for a lot of the premium stuff. We're gonna be adding a golf ball gun so that you can fire at breakables, and we're gonna have all sorts of fun utility for that. And I don't know that I've mentioned yet, there is also a water gun here in the warehouse. That's what this the left side of the screen is here. That is also available for anyone to play with. If you use /help here, you can get the UI menu here right in Telegram, and you can go ahead and move those around. We're doing a little challenge here where we're trying to fill up these buckets, see which one gets filled up first, orange or blue. And we're going to be doing more events like this, and little games and giveaways. This is really just a demonstration of what can be achieved with both the Stellar network and cheap hardware like Raspberry Pis, and just a little bit of IoT. So hopefully you will be able to log in and enjoy some of these offerings that we have here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you and start talking about some NFT stuff. So as we get into some more about Crypto Cannoneer here, I'm actually currently up to $20,000 in funding from the Stellar Community Fund. And so you can check out my project and all the other amazing projects that are a part of the Stellar Community Fund by going to communityfund.stellar.org. There's a lot of really cool projects, and there's up to $1 million, I think, available to different projects that are choosing to develop on the Stellar blockchain. So there's a lot of really cool programs in there. And as you can see over here, we've got a screenshot of some of the upcoming NFTs that we're going to be releasing as achievements for Crypto Cannoneer. You can earn NFT achievements for things like getting it right in the net, or calling your shot, or getting 3 hits in a row, all sorts of things. So that is just one of the ways that you can utilize NFTs as sort of a digital commodity or an achievement, or even just as art. If you've been following along with these sessions, last week we talked a lot about DAOs and NFTs, and in the previous weeks we've been talking about the myriad of applications available for NFTs, from doing like officially licensed art merchandising to ticketing for events. As far as achievements, they can even be related to physical product where they can be redeemable. And so there are really an endless amount of uses for NFTs. In relation to the ARC funding that we are going to be talking about more later, we want to use, specifically my project, I want to use NFTs and NFC, which is near field communication, for doing basically a point of sale type payments for live events. So this project will ultimately be developing into sort of a Stellar powered arcade. And then you'd be able to pay for your games with Stellar. You'd be able to purchase NFTs using just your phone or like a wristband. And you'd be able to buy merchandise, food and drink, anything that you might purchase at a typical convention or live event, music festival, concert experience, whatever type of event you might think of. We're going to be applying for some of that ARC funding to basically develop some of that hardware wallet and the NFC interaction, so that you can do all of this cryptocurrency powered. And there are really a lot of potential upsides, both for vendors and for artists. and as far as utilizing blockchain, particularly high speed and low cost networks like Stellar, because then your users can pay in any currency that they have in their wallet. You can drastically reduce your point of sale fees, and especially when you're talking about microtransactions, 50-cent credit card fees, destroy any capability of doing product offerings for less than $1 really. And so if you don't want half of your cost eaten up by credit card fees, so that's where payment networks like Stellar really come in handy, is for microtransactions and doing all sorts of things in the small scale payment space. So please check out the community fund for Stellar, and be sure to check out some of our other content about ARC if you're interested in getting involved in any of the blockchain or wearables funding here in Arizona. And let's dive into some NFT stuff. So if you don't have any major familiarity with NFTs, I highly recommend checking out some of our other videos where we've gone through a lot more of the basics on NFTs. And there are tons of resources out there for learning more about NFTs. But in short, NFT stands for non-fungible token, which basically just means it's a cryptocurrency that is indivisible and unique, as opposed to something like a dollar bill or a Bitcoin where they're all identical. $1 is the exact same as a different dollar bill. NFTs are totally unique. So even if an NFT represents the same piece of art, it would be equivalent to like print copies. So you can get the first edition or the 15th edition or whatever, but they are uniquely identifiable, even though they're representative of the same piece of art or maybe the same ticket to an event, but each one would be uniquely identifiable so that you can tell who owned it, and if there's any special content, or if it's like a higher edition that might be more valuable than a lower edition. So that is a real quick rundown on what what some of these art-based NFTs are going on. And so there are quite a few blockchain networks out there that support NFTs, and a lot of them have varying advantages and disadvantages, as well as hugely different adoption as far as how big your customer base might be, depending on what NFT marketplace or network you're looking at. So since I am building on Stellar, I'm going to go ahead and open with the Stellar blockchain and the #1 Stellar NFT marketplace, and then we'll kind of expand out into some other chains and some other marketplaces, and we'll talk about some of the risks associated with NFT trading and some of that. So let's see. So here on Lightmint is the #1 NFT marketplace for Stellar. It is still in beta. NFTs are relatively new to Stellar, but one really nice thing about NFTs on Stellar is that since Stellar has a native decentralized exchange, all of the NFTs created on Stellar are immediately tradable for any other asset on the Stellar network. And this includes, major popular assets like USD coin, Lumens. And then on Stellar, there's also anchored versions of other assets from other networks like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Ripple and all those things. So you can theoretically trade your NFTs for any other asset. People on Stellar have even created tokenized version of stocks. So you can even, sell your Lightmint NFTs for tokenized stocks, and you can be trading NFTs, compared to a tokenized version of Amazon stock or Tesla stock or something like that. So that is just a really powerful part of NFTs on Stellar, and the fees are basically non-existent and the speed is basically instant. One thing you'll notice when you go to the Lightmint network is that they really push how cheap the fees are on Stellar. If you're familiar, so right here you can see the minting cost of an NFT on Stellar is less than $1, and then to transfer it is fractions of a penny. So this is a really powerful part of what makes Stellar very appealing. If you have experience working on or trying to bid or mint NFTs on a network like Ethereum or a marketplace like OpenSea, you've probably become very familiar with gas fees. and how out of control they can get, especially for newcomers or people who are just trying to dabble in a small amount of funds. And Ethereum NFTs are really inaccessible for newcomers or people who don't have a large amount of cryptocurrency holdings, or they're just trying to dabble with, like I was saying, microtransactions and smaller things. There are layer 2 solutions for Ethereum, and a lot of them are available on OpenSea, but that just adds more complexity and it comes with its own caveats. So going back to Lightmint here, they make it really easy to mint a token, and go ahead and go through it. So one thing you're going to quickly find out as you start to get involved in the NFT space is that most marketplaces are extremely dependent on one blockchain. There's very few NFT marketplaces out there that support multiple chains. So you're kind of, once you start down one path and down one ecosystem, it's really hard to branch out and sort of make them interoperable or even hold NFTs from multiple blockchains, even in the same wallet, and view them on the same space. So the NFT space is still extremely fragmented, like the majority of the crypto space, which is unfortunate, but there are some chains out there that are trying to create more bridges and more interoperability between the chains. So things are improving on that front. But what you'll notice about pretty much all of the marketplaces we're going to be talking about today is they are only for one blockchain. And typically for that blockchain, you have to have the native token in order to pay whatever the transaction fees might be. A lot of times the NFTs themselves will be listed in terms of that native token. So you're going to, at minimum, have to be set up with a wallet that is funded with some amount, maybe $5 or $10 for some of the chains that support like the smaller transactions and tokens. If you're wanting to play around with mainnet Ethereum NFTs, you're going to be looking at hundreds of dollars to get started, just so that you can afford gas fees and swaps. And even it can cost up to $50 or more, depending on gas fees, just to make a bid on an NFT or an NFT based on Ethereum. So you got to really make sure you know what you're doing. I highly recommend getting started in NFT space on a chain besides Ethereum, so you can learn and make your mistakes somewhere where the gas fees won't be so destructive. Anyways, so one thing you're going to notice about a lot of NFT marketplaces is they look sort of like an auction site. There, a lot of them have these scrolls that just have all the art just popping up, and they just infinite scroll. Most of them will list who the author is or the artist, so what the price is, if they're for sale, how many in total there are. We talked a little bit about uniqueness, if it's one of a kind, if there's a few editions of it, if there's hundreds of editions of it. So those are all things to pay attention to if you're interested in collecting things that are rare and unique, or if you just like the art, that is fine too. So when you go ahead and click on an NFT on the Lightmint marketplace here, our internet is getting a little bogged down here. We're running on hotspots here. So you can see here that the account is locked that created it. So you know that no more of these NFTs can be created. And you can see here that it is one of a kind. There was only one ever created. If you are interested in diving into the back end on a lot of these NFT marketplaces, most of them will have a link to the blockchain explorer that's associated with that asset and that blockchain. So this is Stellar Expert, which is the most popular. I think it's certainly my favorite blockchain explorer for Stellar. And so you can see here the account that issued it. You can see that there's only one that exists. You can see how many times it's been traded. You can see how many people have opened up trust lines to it. So you can get all that really heady back-end information if that's interesting to you. So Lightmint, like I said, is in beta. It doesn't have quite as many features as some of the other more developed marketplaces do, like auctions and really being able to group things by collections and some things like that. So Lightmint is really rapidly expanding their beta and their features though. So keep your eye on Lightmint. They're doing really great things. All right, moving on. We're going to move on to OpenSea here. This is probably the most popular NFT marketplace out there right now. Anybody who's been following the headlines and they see these really crazy valuations in the tens of millions for some ridiculous pixelated art piece, it's almost certainly on Ethereum. Those NFTs are here. Ethereum has the highest network adoption. It's definitely got the most sort of household name recognition. So it's got a lot going for it in the sense of adoption and awareness. But like I've said, it is really plagued by high transaction fees. OpenSea is a pretty cool marketplace, though. They've got really well-developed features, a great UI. If you are working on some of the layer 2 solutions, you can get around some of those really problematic fees. But once you want to actually move that back into your main Ethereum wallet or be able to sell it on the marketplace or do anything with it, then you're going to have to be interacting with the main Ethereum net again. Especially, like I've said, some of these NFTs aren't solely just a piece of art. A lot of them have functionality that might be related to a blockchain game or a dApp. And so then you have to move them into a real wallet or into that actual ecosystem in order to get those perks, whether it might be staking rewards or using it as a custom skin for a game, whatever the supposed functionality for that NFT and the associated ecosystem might be. But you can see, you're starting probably already seeing a theme here that this type of scrolling interface is really common, and you see the prices, you can see what the recent bids are. And so, yeah, this is a really popular one. If you're working with some of the layer 2 solutions, you can do it. And if you're trying to work in some of the really high valued NFTs, this is a good place to do it. I think that's a decent transition here into something else I wanted to talk about, which is be very careful about some of these extremely high priced NFTs. Just because somebody else paid that for it once doesn't mean anyone else ever will. And it doesn't mean you're going to be able to sell it for anywhere close to that. There is a major problem with wash trading and insider trading. Actually, OpenSea just this week was in the news for one of their, I think, high level employees just doing insider trading on NFTs that hadn't hit the front page yet, but he knew they were going to hit the front page the next day. So he would buy them up and then resell them during their price spikes for hitting the front page. And that's not illegal. There's no regulation. This is, the crypto Wild West. So, and OpenSea has decided that internally they're going to be implementing policies to prevent that type of insider trading, but there's no reason that other people on other platforms can't engage in that type of activity. And then in regards to wash trading, if I mint my own NFT and then I sell it to myself with another anonymous wallet for $1 million, then somebody can say like, oh, that NFT is worth $1 million. And then if I try to resell it for half that, someone might think they're getting a great deal for an NFT that might be able to sell for even more than $1 million one day when it absolutely won't. So please be very careful about these really high price NFTs. It's very speculative, and there is a lot of market manipulation going on. So, little word of warning there. Moving on, I am not personally a big fan of OpenSea. Like I said, the transaction fees just really get me. I've played around with it a little bit. I made a bid and it cost me $50 just to make a bid. Then I didn't win, so I just burned $50 worth of Ethereum for no reason. So, not my favorite platform. One of my favorites, though, is Atomic Hub. So, if you're not familiar with Wax and EOS, I suggest you take a look if you're really interested in the NFT space. Wax is a hard fork of EOS, and they are doing incredible volume of NFT transactions. I think that they actually have the most actual transaction volume for NFTs. I think they have passed some of those Ethereum markets, one, because Ethereum is kind of slow and just can't handle as many transactions as Wax can, and two, the transaction fees. People don't want to trade NFTs for a minimal profit when there's a massive fee involved in doing it. But on Wax, the fees are basically nothing. So you can trade NFTs for $1 or for 50-cent profit, and that can be feasible. So there's a lot of games that are built around the Wax chain and Wax NFTs, and so those are getting really popular. Some of those games like Alien Worlds and Our Planet have communities in the tens of thousands of players, and they're, just those individual projects might have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of NFT transactions in a day or a week. As you can see, some of the stats here on Atomic Hub, they've had 30,000 sales today. So, and 150,000 transactions just in the last 24 hours. So that is just massive volume. And this Explorer is great. It has, just as many features as many of the other networks and marketplaces. I think it's a really beautiful UX. It's really easy to search. You can even, choose what collection you want to be looking at. I think that the search tools on Atomic Hub are really top notch. So if you're just trying to dabble in NFTs, I highly recommend Wax and Atomic Hub. It's a cheap way to get started, and it's fully built out and full featured. It's not a beta. This is one of my favorite NFT marketplaces personally. And moving on, another network that has NFT support is Tezos. If you're not familiar with Tezos, it's pretty interesting. It's complicated. I'm certainly not an expert, and I'm not really qualified to give a lot of information about how Tezos works, but I like some of the NFT marketplaces. I have actually dabbled in them and done some trading. This is Hen, or I think it's Hick et Nunk. I'm sure I butchered that, but it just goes by HEN or Hen. And it's a really nice interface. Again, Tezos has pretty cheap transaction fees. And there's some low priced art. There's another Tezos marketplace called Object. So NFTs on Tezos are referred to as objects, OBJKT. This is another good Tezos marketplace. I haven't personally used this one, but it is, there's a few options available, and there are quite a few other blockchains that support NFTs. So I highly recommend checking out the subreddit r/NFTs if you just kind of want to look around, see what projects are new, what projects might be cheap, what projects are up and coming and popular. If you start hanging out on some of these subreddits or social medias that are based around NFTs, you're going to start seeing a lot of terms thrown around that some are nonsense and some are actually useful information. One concept I've been seeing pop up a lot lately in relation to NFT collections is price floor, which I think is a little bit misleading. They're basically, the price floor is typically referring to the cheapest NFT in that collection right now. So maybe, you might have a collection of NFTs where the rarest ones are worth thousands of dollars. And then, so people are trying to find NFTs in the same collection that are way cheaper, and with the assumption that, or the speculation that maybe one day those two will be worth thousands of dollars. So price floor is an interesting metric there about like what is the cheapest NFT in a collection, and then you can compare that to some of the more expensive ones, but that is the cheapest NFT at this moment. Anyone at any time can decide they're going to sell theirs for less and lowering down that price floor. So that's another one of those metrics that is easily manipulated and very short term. So be careful of that. There are a lot of other things going on in these NFT marketplaces, especially any of these ones that have a lot of suspicious upvotes and not a lot of comments. They very well might have paid for their upvotes and doing some wash trading to try to artificially inflate the prices on their NFTs. So definitely be really wary of some of this stuff that is going viral or popping up on social media. Another thing worth mentioning is probably Solana. They've been in the news a lot this week. I personally haven't traded any NFTs on Solana, but I know that they are available. Just a quick Google search of Solana NFT Marketplace here yields quite a few. Solana had a problem this week where the network was down for like 20 hours. So that wouldn't be my first choice for trying to get started on something. But, everyone has their own risk tolerance and appetite. So that is a real quick rundown. I threw a lot at you here about some of these NFT marketplaces. One other thing that I'd really like to mention is royalties. So royalties is one of the most exciting aspects of NFTs, in my opinion. Basically, the creator of an NFT can enforce royalty payment for every time it gets traded. So, maybe it initially sells for $10 and then it gets and it's maybe got a 10% royalty on it. And then, later it gets resold for $100. The original creator will get their 10% and they'll get another $10. So that's a really cool aspect of royalties. Most NFT marketplaces support royalties. I don't think Lightmint has quite implemented that feature yet, but most of them have, and most of them do. And that is, I think, a really appealing thing for artists who might want to sell it for cheap initially just to get it out there, and then they can reap a bit more of the profits in the secondary markets and the resale markets. I think that is a really, really important driving factor for a lot of the people, myself included, who want to use NFTs for ticketing. I know Mark Cuban has been making a lot of noise about using NFTs for ticketing to sports games, because then when the tickets go on and get resold or scalped or whatever might happen, he can take a cut. He can, implement a royalty on that and make sure that he gets another cut in that secondary market. And that is a major driving factor, actually, for the planned in-game economy here for Crypto Cannoneer, is that the NFTs that yield the in-game currency, turret token, a lot of them will actually be free. They'll either be giveaways as promotional and marketing materials, or they can only be earned into existence by actually accomplishing the achievements. And then when those go on to be resold in the secondary market, we'll be taking a cut of those resells. So that secondary market is actually one of the primary profit streams planned for this project's economy. So that is a really important and cool feature in the NFT space. And so you might want to pay attention when you're bidding on NFTs, is just take a look at what the royalty payment is. Usually they're less than 10%, but most marketplaces allow the creators to put in any amount. So that is a relevant bit there. And I think I'm going to go ahead and open this up. We've got a few people here in person. We're going to do a little bit of Q&A. I'm going to stop my screen share here, and we will open this up to questions in here and on the Zoom chat, if anyone is there, about NFTs and marketplaces and cryptocurrency, blockchain, decentralization, whatever people want to talk about. Go ahead. Oh, I think Jay's hooking up a speaker over there so we can hear the Zoom call, but you can go ahead and ask your question if you'd like. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. I just was curious on Coinbase to have a ranking of NFTs.
Oh, really? Yeah, that must be new. I'm not familiar with that. So Coinbase apparently does NFT rankings now.
Yeah, so if you do it, and Tezos is there, Theta's number one. But I just was curious what I didn't know what that was. I guess you answered my question. What did that mean? You're not quite sure.
Sorry, no, I might be familiar. So you're just talking about the ranking of networks?
Yeah, that's which is interesting how they ranked them.
Let's see. Coinbase NFT ranking. I would assume they're ranking by volume or maybe transaction volume. Let's see. Coinbase.com. I'm not getting it on a quick Google search. Can you show me?
Yeah, it's just NFT core listed by market capitalization.
Oh, so this is Coin Market Cap. I thought you said
Yeah.
Coinbase.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Coin Market Cap.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the
protocols and tokens. Interesting. Yeah, let me pull that up real quick.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So Coin Market Cap is listing NFT protocols here. Let's see. I'll go ahead and share my screen again so we can all see what we're talking about here in the in-person session. So NFT protocols listed by market capitalization. This page lists NFT protocols and token market cap. So the most valuable first. So I'm guessing when they're saying market cap here, they're talking about the combined value of every NFT on that blockchain, okay. Which that value in market cap and cryptocurrency in general is a little bit of a dicey metric. Because it's basically just using the last traded price, right. And especially for really low liquidity markets like NFTs, there might only be one trade on the NFT, and like we were talking about with wash trading and insider trading, that might have been somebody trading to themselves. So I have a little bit of trouble believing some of these rankings, to be honest. As far as if I was going to do the ranking, I probably wouldn't rank it in order of the quote unquote market cap of all of the combined NFTs, a far more useful metric, in my opinion, is volume, is trade volume. How active are people trading? Because a lot of people aren't doing nearly as much like wash trading with bots just for volume. There's not a lot of purpose in that. I mean, yeah, having a little bit more volume and a little liquidity on your asset does make it more appealing. But I think that the wash trading to artificially inflate the price of an asset is far more rampant in the space. So that this ranking here isn't taking into account any of that the fake valuations. So like I was saying, I could mint my own NFT, sell it to myself for $10,000. And if I did it on the Tezos network, then that would increase this Tezos NFT market cap by $10,000, even though no one is actually willing to pay $10,000 for that NFT.
No, correct. I was looking at the at the data drop. I went to the data drop after seeing that. I went to the data drop site. And apparently they had some kind of working relationship with World Poker Tour, which is a global, obviously.
That's cool.
Players, and so there's people selling cards and moments of
absolutely
digital moments of it, and I think that's what drove me to it. And they also have now one that's going to be launched with Katy Perry and one.
Oh, cool. And that's on Theta?
One is UFC fighting, but it's born in Asia, and it's based out of Singapore, but it's there. So it's in that. So just I thought that related to.
That's all on the Theta network?
It's called Theta Drop, which is
Theta Drop.
Yeah, which is their proprietary thing, but right now you can't take it off. Based on what I saw, you could take it off.
Okay.
Because they're waiting for KYC, because you're the tax man coming when you start selling.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't have a lot of familiarity with Theta. I've sort of looked at it a little bit, but that is interesting. But yeah, the metric that I would be far more interested in than market cap would be transaction volume.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't search that out there.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody out there has gone ahead and listed, and if you hop around between different marketplaces, usually they'll quote their own metrics, and you could probably aggregate all of those and do a comparison. But I know that Wax is really high up there in transaction volume. And there are other projects out there pretty much every week that are, coming out designed specifically for NFT marketplaces. A chain or a project I've been seeing a bit of noise about lately that I've been interested in checking out is called Ghost. I think it's it's called Ghost Protocol. And I think they're trying to combine like 3 or 4 blockchains into one NFT marketplace. And I think they maybe even have their own blockchain and their own NFT standard as well. So there's definitely a lot of networks out there as far as possibilities for NFTs. Yeah,
it's just going to be interesting to see how because it does translate to
yeah.
They have some larger names out there.
Yeah.
So we'll go for those relationships. So it's just interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, some of these market cap rankings are interesting too, because like Axie Infinity is listed on this, but Axie Infinity is an Ethereum project. It's not its own blockchain. Yeah, so, and I don't know why Ethereum wouldn't be #1 in here. Obviously, it should be.
The actual site.
Yeah. So there's some interesting stuff going on here with this CoinMarketCap ranking, which CoinMarketCap often does some interesting stuff.
It's run by Binance. It's owned by Binance.
Yeah, especially since Binance bought it. So there's some interesting things here, but yeah, and this is I think a decent way to take a look and see who's trading and where you might find some activity. I have looked into Chili's a little bit. That seems pretty cool. Some of their offerings for NFTs and like their social tokens and stuff. So that's kind of a cool project. But yeah, a lot of these I'm not particularly familiar with. There's a lot of newer projects on here, and you can see that a lot of these are pretty deep in the overall market cap listings.
Yeah, just interesting. I like how they're pulling the data.
Yeah.
So, example, Tom Brady's got a company called Autograph. He just went with DraftKings, but DraftKings is really not a project. It's on the Polygon network. So when Charlotte, she's where does the bond go? It's going to DraftKings, and that's the Polygon. So
yeah, people we definitely need to get some more standardization across metrics to try to really get some apples to apples comparisons in this space for sure.
That's right.
It's okay.
All right. Who else has a topic of conversation or a question?
Let me talk about a few things. trying to adjust the audio on this.
Sure, I can turn off my mic.
Yeah, go ahead and turn off your mic. So let me get on camera here. Sorry about this. I'm wrestling with the technology. Can you hear me, Shane?
I don't have speakers hooked up.
Okay. Yeah. So let me. What's that?
I'm getting bubbles from you.
You are? Okay. Let's assume that you can hear me. So one thing I would like to say about the non-fungible tokens is this is really a new way to own property. And mostly what Shane has been showing you is the ability to create some form of ownership in some sort of digital art. And that's sort of been the leading edge of this whole non-fungible token market. But there's other interesting opportunities, such as a fractional ownership of real estate that can be where NFTs can be deployed. And that is still very much in the initial stages. And we did have a session on real estate ownership on I think it was the 25th of August. And you can see that. But part of what we're doing here today during the session is exploring ways to create innovative projects with the Applied Research Center's funding opportunity. And there might be some folks that are watching this or listening to it that might have some ideas or be interested in experimenting over a 2-year period with the non-fungible tokens in the realm of, say, real estate or who knows what it is, some sort of ownership. And I would encourage you to join our session on the 22nd, which is next Wednesday. If you're interested in this sort of thing, you'll have an opportunity to announce your interest, the type of project that you're interested in working on. Maybe if you're looking for additional team members and so forth, or matching funds. So, part of what we're doing today is starting to explore some of these new and innovative ways to own property through non-fungible tokens. And if anybody's out there, yeah, there is an echo. Sorry about the echo. But if you're interested in exploring that process, I encourage you to join us on the 22nd. Also, we're going to be having these sessions every weekend from same time, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I invite you to join there or stop by and meet some of the folks that are here and introduce yourself and the type of project that you're interested in. So any other topics or questions?
Question. So today, other than art, storing the art, what are other real world use cases where NFTs can?
Sure. Like Jay was mentioning, you can definitely do property. People are definitely experimenting with using NFTs as title or sort of property, land. I think that there are some pretty cool upcoming applications for people trying to essentially to tokenize all sorts of things, so like the ownership or like timeshares. I think that the possibilities for real world connection are really limitless. I saw a promotion a while back that I really liked. Somebody was creating an NFT, like TEE, like a t-shirt. And so you could hold your collectible NFT, or you could redeem it and get a physical t-shirt for it.
Right now, it's just, there's no entity kind of, you can create an NFT. Somebody else also can create the same NFT, right?
Sure. So you're talking about like copyright on.
Copyright, yeah. So
Yeah.
I have an NFT, right? I had an opensea. So there is no one preventing that, okay, somebody else can do
Yeah.
it in a different network or maybe in the same network.
Totally.
That's
So-
still there.
Yeah, that's the same thing with like officially licensed merchandise or
Yeah.
for things right now. So yeah, people can, I can go grab a picture of Captain America and print it on a T-shirt, sell, essentially stolen artwork on a T-shirt, but it won't be the officially licensed version. So if there's any sort of, so if you're just doing it for the art value, yeah, it's functionally the same as the officially licensed version. But so for a lot of like these like blockchain games, they will have some sort of tie-in that gives you some sort of reward that only the official version will provide. So like my game, my NFTs will be yield my in-game token, and yeah, anybody can download the JPEG and mint an identical version of it, but it won't have the yield-bearing side of it. So I think that's one of the ways to kind of implement an incentive system and like an actual reward for holding the officially licensed version is to create some sort of tie-in, even so for a lot of games or like social medias and things like that, they won't let you, if you're like, for like things like CryptoPunks, like you can't use an unlicensed version as your avatar. But you can use, like, if you want to actually use it as your avatar. I know that Reddit is implementing some NFT avatars, and only people who hold the real version can actually use it
you
as their
cannot
avatar.
just like screenshot and put
Yeah.
that, then they will find it out.
Yeah.
It's actually-
And there are some companies and some people that are working actively on that type of like blockchain analysis to track fake NFTs. I actually saw a tool recently that was really cool. I don't know if you're familiar with DeviantArt, but it's a cool like art-based social media where people post their original artworks.
Oh.
And they've implemented a tool on DeviantArt where you can check to see if people have stolen your art and minted it as an NFT. And then you can go after the creator of those NFTs who have stolen your art. So that's a pretty cool tool. And I'm sure as as more and more money becomes possible in it, those tools will become more and more prevalent, so that people can protect their copyright and make some money and, go after those types of things. So those are definitely going to become really common.
So along these lines, let's say there is a basketball like NFTs too, right? Certain shots and whatnot. So you purchase from like OpenSea, wherever, like a particular basketball shot. And at the same time, we also have like same audio or video like on multiple like YouTubes or wherever, right? So other than flexing, what is really value of me holding a NFT basketball shot?
Yeah, I think that it depends. I mean, the same thing, like what is the value in me collecting trinkets? It has value to me.
Yeah, it's like
It's-
more of, I mean, like
Yeah.
something I like.
Yeah, if it's
I
something you
want
like
to own
or-
it, I'm sure that I have this. Other than that, I mean, it's just that's one big use case right now. We're seeing
Yeah.
NFTs, but as it matures, right, I think the other applications are where it's really solving a problem or
Yeah.
doing
So-
something new that which wasn't existing. That's
Mhm.
where I think more value. right?
So yeah, for sure. I think one place where they provide value is for actual people, actual creators. Like for me, I've minted a few NFTs that don't have any real world functionality. They don't have the yield side. They don't have any of that. But if people want to support my projects and they like what I'm doing, they can, it's digital merchandise. The same way I could sell T-shirts or hats
Yeah.
that are, I could sell overpriced hats in order to raise money, and then people want to support me, they can. And the NFT space has that sort of similarity as well as far as digital merchandise. And then I think for projects that gain a lot of popularity, if people want to prove that they're a super fan or like they've been there from the beginning, they've got that irrefutable blockchain evidence, like I've held this blockchain or this NFT since the beginning, like I was an early supporter. And so I think people, really gravitate to that. And especially once we start talking about, some of these big things like NBA and like Marvel and like officially licensed NFTs, like super fans and collectors will go crazy over that.
Yeah, I think that's one, I would say like it's a good use case. I mean,
Sure.
it's there, but I think it's like kind of like you said, and you're supporting or you're like somebody who have a lot of money.
Yeah.
They're flexing. Yeah, I have this, right? So there's like multiple ways, but the real world use case, like okay, if I'm going to game, can I use NFT?
Yeah.
Like if, okay, for real estate, can I
Mhm.
use NFT?
Yeah.
Those are like another.
Sure. Yeah, well, I mentioned it a little bit earlier as far as ticketing. I think that ticketing and royalties is one of like in my mind, like one of the most killer use cases for like a real world value that NFTs provide that all of their previous systems don't. Like, when someone goes to scalp paper tickets, the original, especially for like sold out shows and concerts and stuff, the resold tickets might sell for 3 times or more of their original value. And, the people who put on the concert or promoters or whoever, they don't see a dime of that. And once they've been put into NFT version with royalties, they can, take whatever cut they want. And so I think that has a huge appeal, both like financially and just like from a standpoint of being able to track, where those tickets are actually being resold and, how the secondary markets are working. So I think that is a really important and up and coming like real world use case. And, I think a lot of it's still being developed. We're going to see newer and newer implementations and use cases and ways to use them that, we haven't thought of yet.
I think it's important to keep in mind that an NFT, a non-fungible token, is unique to a particular blockchain. So in my understanding of it, there's nothing that would prevent somebody from creating an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain and then one on the Solana and one on Stellar of the exact same digital information, right? And so and I make the analogy, it's kind of like getting a patent in the United States, but that doesn't mean anything in Europe or other countries. So you could think of each blockchain as sort of like a country where you might own the rights to that digital asset within that blockchain context, but it means nothing outside of that. And the other part of that is that if the blockchain dies, which let's say there's some sort of fundamental flaw in the Solana, and I don't know that's the case, but they certainly had some big problems. But if for some reason the blockchain dies and nobody's using it anymore, your NFT is basically dead.
Yeah, especially if there's no nodes running or like if the chain is truly inaccessible. I think maybe now it's super
like an
rare.
artist.
Yeah,
They pass away, they're worth the bar stuff.
that's true. I think that especially in that same vein, as far as like the different chains going, I think there's a lot of opportunity there for like cross-chain implementation and cross-chain swaps. So instead of letting some random person, create a copy of your NFT on another chain, something that I've been seeing, and it's fairly common practice in people trying to create like cross-chain interoperability, is basically if you want to convert it to a different chain, what you're actually doing is depositing one and withdrawing the other. So, the central bank or the issuer or whoever it might be holding, the Tezos version of that NFT and the Solana version and the Ethereum version. And then you are currently holding, say, the Stellar version, and then you can trade them back the Stellar version and get the Ethereum version if you want to go sell it on OpenSea or whatever. So I think that is an interesting sort of methodology for creating some of these cross-chain capabilities.
Yeah, so you've always got that option. And it's my understanding that a lot of people are storing the actual digital content on the interplanetary file system,
Absolutely.
IPFS. So that is somewhat chain agnostic.
Yeah.
And you could have your digital content on the interplanetary file system or others like SIA or whatever, or maybe even in the cloud, I don't know. And then you could create your NFT on multiple chains, referring to that particular digital content.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of a backup safeguard position. So anyway, that's
IPFS is definitely the most commonly accepted standard for art files, NFTs on just about any chain. I don't know of any chain that is against using IPFS for storing the actual art files.
Yeah.
So,
And
That's a very
also,
common
like,
practice.
NFTs, they've used one, like NBA, they use like one chain. They don't like put in all right there.
Typically, when some of these big, like well-known brands decide they want to
Decide,
launch an
yeah.
NFT collection,
Yeah.
they'll choose
One.
somebody to manage it for them,
Exactly.
and then they'll choose what chain. Like, so I
Yeah,
know, like,
so you cannot have same in a different, like, no, like, if it's coming in different, it's
Yeah.
like somebody copied and put it there.
probably.
Yeah, or like they downloaded it and
Yeah.
own it and they went on to different network.
Yeah, I haven't yet heard of any major brands like creating like a multi-chain
Multi-chain,
collection.
yeah.
I know that like Wax has been landing some pretty big clients, like they got Garbage Pail Kids, and I think they just got some MLB cards. And then like we've been hearing about Theta getting some big names. And so, yeah, I think once a major brand chooses an ecosystem, they're probably going to stick with it.
that. Right?
Yeah.
But there's no enforcement mechanism to get digital content that's NFT on one chain, somebody duplicates that. There's no enforcement way that you could
Yeah.
have them remove
Yeah, there
it.
is no enforcement, but if you are like kind of savvy, you don't buy in a different
Sure.
chain because you know, hey, they are like officially on this chain.
Yeah.
You pay your money, you're like whatever, like on other chain.
Mhm.
If somebody picks up as a Tezos or like US,
Yeah.
so what you do, if you want to hold those, you go there and you purchase, you pay.
Mhm.
You won't go to an Ethereum one
Yeah.
and you pay it to get that one.
Yeah, I think from the standpoint of from creators' perspective, their only recourse is to reach out to the marketplace and try to get them removed.
Yeah.
If they've been, if it's stolen art or if they're fake copies or whatever the case might be. But even if you get them removed from the marketplace, chances are they'll still be on chain,
Yeah.
depending on what network we're talking about. So they might still be accessible, but if they're less in the public eye, that's the primary goal. So yeah, and they're really, and that's not even really a legal recourse as much as just like making a request and hoping that the marketplace honors it. Like,
Yeah.
there's not really any legal precedent. I guess maybe a little bit under like stolen art as far as copyright law, but even then, like the NFT space, especially
Exactly, yeah.
for these marketplaces that aren't based in the US, there really isn't any legal recourse. And especially for investors, the people who get swindled and they bought the fake ones, they have no recourse.
That's it. Once it's gone, it's
Yeah.
gone.
Their only option is to try to sell it to someone else who's going to have to fight that.
That's what the years of blockchain.
Yeah.
Go on some site that's from a foreign country and then they close it down. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
It's less now, as more
Mhm.
information has been coming out on that. But I still think that the entire, that ticketing for events, like, I don't know, big star comes in town, people show, and they do an NFT and they do a drop just for the people who have
Mhm.
the ticket, which is an NFT. And
Yeah.
they do an NFT drop, an art.
Yeah.
Artist thing of that, of
Mhm.
a new song that verse is putting out
Yeah.
for that thing on an NFT. And I think they're gonna, this is obviously in its embryonic stages,
Mhm.
very infant,
Great.
very much. We have years and years of development to get to that many of these questions are answered.
Yeah.
But I think there's gonna be a way that there's gonna be those things you can transfer it to different chains if you
Yeah,
want to.
for sure.
And then there's going to be a very small percentage of chains that's yours.
Yeah, totally.
1 out of 10, maybe.
Maybe probably
One
one out of
1/3. Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of that going on. So,
For
but
sure.
I love that idea about that ticket. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Because you can then do an NFT drop just for the folks who got the NFT
Totally.
ticket. And
Yeah.
I think there's an option for that, for sports, for
Absolutely.
entertainment, for all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. I mean,
Movie premieres.
the ticket itself would be a collectible item.
Yes.
Once it's redeemed, it maybe loses a lot
Yes.
of its value, but it would still be,
Well, of
like a
course.
keepsake.
Yeah.
If you want it, and then
Mhm.
like, yeah, you could use
Mhm.
holders of those NFTs as a potential airdrop list for,
Yes.
new releases or exclusive deals or,
Mhm.
early access to your next concert sales or whatever it may be. So yeah, I think that's
And then
a really
And then
cool
the other thing
aspect.
I figured out, because we live where we live, is it's like I said, that I was trying to figure out from that Theta, I was doing some research, telegramming with some people, and they said, oh, no, you can't, they're working on KYC, because if you don't have KYC, they need to know who you are, where you live, where your taxing entity is,
Mhm.
because You sell
they don't
something for a
want the
profit,
taxpayer
oh,
coming
they
for
want, they come and they want that money for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's so, it's illegal, you know, you better, so you're not allowed to take the tokens off or the money on the funds off once it's there. You can trade within, but not until they get that KYC. They're working on it. But,
Sure.
you know, it's a big and humongous legal thing.
Yeah, and I mean, just being in that state is a really dicey legal situation, because like we've been contacting with the Arizona FinTech Council about their programs, and they've got a really big problem, and I know other legal entities do too, with places that will only accept money in, but you can never get it back out.
Yeah.
That's a huge legal red flag.
Well, they're
So-
not, they're gonna let you get it out, but they're working on the KYC.
Soon TM.
Well, yeah, but they have to do the KYC. They
Yeah.
can't give you the money back.
Oh,
If
so
made
you
a profit,
can KYC and get your, or is that like?
they're working on the KYC
Yeah.
form because you have to get the
Yeah,
KYC.
so launching a beta
Yeah.
where they'll let you
sure,
deposit funds but not withdraw.
Yeah.
Can get you in a lot of legal trouble.
Yeah, the actual entity is the Arizona Attorney General's office runs the Arizona FinTech Sandbox, and that provides somewhat of a safe harbor for certain activity and so forth. You can go to the, I think it's azag.gov and find out more about the FinTech Sandbox.
Okay, but as a collector or investor, I don't have a way to verify the authenticity of the token that I'm being offered, right?
You should. Most chains have some way to verify. So for example, on Stellar, NFTs are identifiable by the issuing account. So you would need to refer to like the official website or whatever, and they should have their official issuing accounts listed. And Stellar also has another mechanism that allows you to verify sort of retroactively from both the website to the blockchain and from the blockchain to your website, so that you can verify that accounts are genuine and legit. I think that other chains, they have their own mechanisms. So like, you know, Ethereum or Wax, typically people will either be like verified on the marketplace, or they'll have some sort of official directory of what accounts are genuinely theirs, so that you can avoid scams and duplicates and copies and things like that. But I think that those types of tools are different pretty much for every chain.
Yeah. So we're going to take a lunch break right now, and we'll be back at 1 p.m. Arizona and Pacific time. And let's see, Chad has joined us. Let's include Chad. Hey, Chad. Chad, can you hear me?
There you go.
Hello, Chad. You're muted.
Yeah. I mean,
Aaron, okay.
anytime you catch this chat.
So Chad, actually, I was just introducing you for the 1 o'clock session.
Time and
I mean, you're welcome to join us now if you'd like.
major factor.
But we're breaking for lunch here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just got the mic up. You said you're breaking for lunch?
Yeah, we're breaking for lunch, and we were going to bring you on at 1 o'clock.
Cool.
Does that work for you?
Oh, yeah, sure. Is this the link that for one? Let's see.
Yes. Yeah, you're on the right Zoom link.
Okay, my video is not working for some reason.
Okay.
Start video. Wait, there we go. Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
All right, but yeah, I'm just doing some prep work and stuff right now.
Okay, you were just testing.
I'll just leave this on for now while I'm doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's perfect. Great. So we'll see you at 1 o'clock.
Yep.
Okay, this is, for those watching, this is Chad Eylander. He's going to be talking about NFTs, doing a presentation at 1 o'clock. And then after that, we'll be opening it up for conversation about the Applied Research Center program, the 2.5 million for blockchain, 2.5 million for wearables, and there's another 500,000 that's available for blockchain from the 2019 program. So we're going to go silent now and just have a blank screen. And please join us again at 1 p.m. or fast forward if you're watching the recording. And we'll continue in about an hour. Thank you very much.
Decentralization, working on projects or?
Yeah, all my information is on the Desert Blockchain Meetup stuff.
Okay,
So
cool.
if you want to reach out, please feel free.
Where's
Hey, Chad,
Hey, Jay.
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, let's do a sound check.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
We were getting an echo before and I couldn't figure it out. So see you, Shane. I'm going to take it off screen share and we can kind of start talking. And maybe we can play around with the sound a little bit.
Okay, so what are you thinking you want to focus more on the talk? I bet.
I think I'd love to hear, kind of what you've shared on our team meetings about what you're seeing, the activity that you're seeing, how these things are selling out like that. And also, I think it'd be valuable to talk about some of the, pitfalls, some of the caution flags. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah, that's what I have prepped, and then I have a section on if you're interested in doing and building an NFT project, where I would start, and platforms I would use and stuff like that to kind of how to get involved.
Trying to turn up your sound a little bit.
Is that better? I can get.
Yeah, that's better.
I'll move my mic closer to me.
We can hear you better that way.
Okay, cool. What I was saying is that I have a section on if you want to build a project with NFTs on one of these blockchains, kind of tools to use and developers to follow.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, I'll have that kind of at the end because that's kind of stuff I've been looking into a little bit recently.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We were just talking about, ways to make your own NFTs and stuff like that. So that'd be great. Kind of show you some of the folks that are here. Over here is Joe. He just moved from Chicago, and he is also a Theta fan.
Oh, cool. My favorite. Yeah, I love Theta.
So, and you guys kind of live in the same area. You're in Gilbert, right?
Yeah, I am in Gilbert.
Oh yeah, I'm right on Gilbert and Baseline, pretty close to downtown Gilbert. Yeah.
I'm in the islands.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know that's not far. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, and you guys can talk about Theta, whatever. We'll see if anybody else joins. I think there'll be a few people that'll join, but if nobody's joining on the Zoom to talk about the ARC program, then we can just continue to talk about NFTs and crypto in general and whatever and use cases. But we'll just kind of play it by ear if that sounds okay to you. But you can hear us okay?
Oh yeah, I can hear you great.
Okay, cool. And then Robbie's here and Randy's here and Jose's here.
There's Jose.
And then Shaw's here as well. So
Cool. The place looks great.
Where in the world are you?
Chad is in
Gilbert.
what? Europe, Newport,
Amsterdam.
the Riviera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After he sold his stash of chat points.
Exactly. That's right. The Chad coin has put him on the in San Tropez.
Right. I actually haven't done anything with Chad coin. It's still on the Theta blockchain, just sitting there. I got 1 million of them though.
Yeah, you was $1.
Yeah.
You create an NFT based on your coin.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would like to wait till 1 though before you actually start your presentation, but we can chat until that's only 9 minutes away. But we can chat till then. So I don't know if you followed what Shane was talking about, but he kind of went through a survey of the NFTs and so forth, but
What type
You
of
know.
survey? I didn't see Shane's. So I don't want to cover the same stuff if he did.
he was mostly going through kind of a survey of the various NFT platforms and trading platforms, that sort of thing. He wasn't really talking so much about prices and the mechanics of it. I don't think he has participated at the level that you have. So, I think what I really enjoy hearing about is your experience with the NFT process where they sell out like in 3 seconds. And, but, we're kind of open for conversation.
Okay, did you guys go over to OpenSea already?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. And we touched a little bit about Solana, or Solano. But if we could go over that again.
Yeah, well, I'll just show you real quick some. I'll show you my wallet and my NFTs on there, so you can kind of get an idea of what a profile looks like.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
OpenSea stuff, so we can do that. And you guys see the big insider trading thing with OpenSea this week? Do you guys talk about that at all?
We talked about it briefly, but we could talk about it again.
Trading NFTs or
On
I know,
OpenSea.
yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
one of the executives got fired this week for insider trading.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I think the Solano outage is important. I don't think we talked about that a lot. And I think the OpenSea issue is important, and, wash sales, things like that. And so anyway, we can just kind of open it up. But do you have anything to add about the Applied Research Center's program? Are you?
I was just reading about it. That's why I was kind of including some of the development stuff. If there was a team that was interested and didn't know where to go to get started to build something, I was just going to kind of show the path that I would be looking at to build an NFT project if you're going to do something on one of the bigger blockchains. But the applied research doesn't necessarily, I mean, it could be NFTs, but.
Well, I think the applied research, talking about maybe the potential for NFTs with real estate would be of interest.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you had some thoughts on that, how real estate is a nice fit with the NFTs. I think that'd be valuable as well. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the volume on our end is kind of weak, but anyway, can you guys hear him okay? It's barely.
Say it again, Chad?
Yeah, Chad, if you could get close to your mic, that'd be great.
I got it right here now.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm like talking right into it.
Yeah. So.
And so when you talk about, they talk about the tokenization of assets, whether it be real estate in this case or art, that is the same as NFT. Those are synonymous terms then, because they're not fungible. Obviously, tokenization is that what they're doing? Or?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
I would say it's one application, broad concept within it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we had a session on the 25th of August about real estate and blockchain.
Right.
And we had a woman join us who had participated in the tokenization of a hotel, I think in Aspen, Colorado, the St. Regis.
Oh, cool.
And they
they'll to raise money. So it's
yeah, they tokenized part of the hotel purchase.
Okay.
not the whole thing, but
Almost like, right, so like instead of going to the markets, the credit markets to go take a loan against it, you could be a part owner of it and
Yeah.
raise money that way. There was a capital funding thing. Okay, cool.
yeah, they did. It was maybe don't totally quote me on this, but it was partly debt, partly, I think,
Okay,
conventional equity, and then
sure.
a portion was
Tokens.
tokenized.
Okay,
So it was kind of interesting.
right. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, I think that was the other one we talked about was entertainment, because in a use cases, you have to say, when you say use case, you have to solve a problem. One of the things entertainers have, I'm old enough to know I still own a record player, where
Mhm.
you had to buy a whole album and in order to get the one song or the two songs. So now you can just get the one or two. Well, that's great for us, but it's, if you look at the artists don't make much money on that. They have to go on the road to make
Mhm.
money. So there's new ways for them to make money, and so and to create things. So I think there's a lot of that in entertainment.
Yeah.
I see a lot of opportunities for them
Yeah.
to capture more funds and for the artists to get one, and not so much the intermediaries that exist today in the legacy system. So
Yeah.
yeah.
One of the projects that were somewhat, well, let's say we're connected with is called Nori.com, Nori.com.
That sounds really familiar.
And they do carbon removal.
Yeah.
And Imogene Heap did some sort of tokenization, who's a popular performer in Europe, did some sort of tokenization
Sure.
related to the carbon removal, and I think some of her creative work and so forth. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of opportunity with, the whole tokenization of entertainment and so forth. So
Yeah.
Somebody's waiting.
somebody's waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Eric. Hey, Eric. Hello, Eric. Can you hear us, Eric?
I can, thank you.
Cool. Yeah, you're coming in a lot louder than Chad is for some reason.
Charge wise, even on like our calls, like weekly call,
Yeah.
I hear very far.
Yeah.
Chad is very shy.
Yeah, Chad's shy.
Not
Not really. But yeah, if you could speak into your microphone,
There's something going on with it.
Yeah, I'll make sure to talk into it.
that's really good.
Yeah, I was talking quietly because everybody was
Okay.
talking in the background.
We don't want to steal your thunder here, so.
Well, it's more of a conversation,
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and get started? Just the camera up a little bit. Okay, so I have 1 o'clock Arizona and Pacific time. And if you're just joining us, my name is Jay Carpenter. I'm founder of Desert Blockchain. And what we've had so far today at this open house, the Applied Research Center's open house, is we had Shane Sandler conduct a session from 11 a.m. to noon on non-fungible tokens and the marketplace. And we talked about some of the different dimensions of that. Then we had our lunch break for an hour from noon to 1. And now we're going to be talking about non-fungible tokens with Chad Eylander, who's got quite a bit of experience with non-fungible tokens or NFTs. And Chad's going to talk for 15-20 minutes, and then we might have some folks join us regarding the Applied Research Center's program. And if you're not familiar with that, it's matching funds from the state of Arizona, $2.5 million for blockchain research over a 2-year period, and then another $2.5 million for wearables research over a 2-year period. And this coming Wednesday on the 22nd of September at 7 p.m., we'll be having kind of a showcase of projects that folks are interested in applying for with the Arizona Commerce Authority. And if you need any additional team members, you're looking for matching funding, all of that sort of thing, you can talk about that on Wednesday night. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chad, and you can take it away and share your experience with NFTs, and we'll keep it open for questions and so forth. And if you have any questions, you're watching this on the YouTube live stream, please type them in over on the right-hand side of your screen. Go ahead, Chad. And if you want to introduce yourself a little bit further, talk about the length of time you've been interested in blockchain, cryptocurrency, and NFTs, that would be great as well. Okay.
Sure. Thanks, Jay. Yeah, my name's Chad, and I've been involved with Desert Blockchain for probably around two years now, and became good friends with Jay. And I work at CVS Health in financial system architecture. I've been interested in blockchain for probably five years. NFTs specifically, about the last year, and the last 2 months very in depth, spending a lot of time on it as it's kind of gotten more popular. And I've obviously it's going to be something that in the future in the crypto space is going to be an important aspect or its own separate market. So I've been learning a lot more about it lately. And so I'll go over kind of the general, what I see the NFT market as right now, and kind of where I see it going. Right now, the NFT market is dominated by Ethereum, and their central marketplace is called OpenSea. And here I'll share my screen and just give you a quick look of what that looks like. 1 second. Let's see. Okay. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Okay, cool. So this is OpenSea. Kind of the last month has been big since a lot of the digital art was sold on Sotheby's. I don't know how to pronounce that.
That's right.
The legit high class art auction. And so the only ones that they actually sold were CryptoPunks, and I'll show you that the number 1 ranked, and Bored Ape Yacht Club. So that's this one right here. Kind of, these were given away for free originally around like I think 3 years ago, and this was like the first generative NFT project. And so this has kind of like developed a huge following because the floor price on this. So in NFTs, what you really are kind of looking at is the floor price. So it's the lowest price on what one item costs. So one CryptoPunk right now, I think, is 150K if you just want one. I don't, it just doesn't have it here, but I think it's somewhere around 150K if you want one. And this is what they look like.
And these things were airdropped about 2 or 3 years ago?
Given away for free. These are the first generative NFT. And so it's a generative NFT is like the ones that are now, you have a certain number, so 10,000. And then you have randomized traits that are computer generated to in this case, it's just a guy. So each of these traits are individual, and the rarity depends on, like, see how these have both got the purple hat. So the purple hat is probably less rare. I'll give you an example of what a rarity chart looks like here in a second. But this is kind of,
and just if I could interrupt, and you're quoting prices that were cleared through Sotheby's, is that correct?
On Sotheby's, they the individual, I can't remember what the individual one sold for. I think they sold over 100 of these CryptoPunks, as well as Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is the other one. The individual ones are going for, I don't remember, it was like $500,000. I have the article somewhere.
And
But
do you know if there's a possibility to do a wash sale on Sotheby's? Do they protect against that? Where
I don't know. This was one of the questions I had, is how does Sotheby's settle? Like, who owns the private keys? Are they holding the NFT and then is it cash settled? That's kind of my assumption. But if it was me, I would want the NFT in my own possession with my own keys. But I'm not certain how it goes with Sotheby's. And I was looking for that answer because, like, I'm always in the technical stuff, like if you're buying in dollars, who actually owns the private keys of these NFTs and gets to actually control them? Because then Sotheby's takes a percentage of that price too. So that's why I'm guessing it's cash settled, is because they have a different layer of 10% or whatever. They take a huge chunk.
yeah, Sotheby's takes about a 15% cut,
Yeah.
doesn't?
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm not exactly sure how this is being done. It's probably cash settled, but
So to do a wash sale on Sotheby's would be pretty expensive.
yeah, and
Because
they
you'd have to be paying them a 15% cut in order to kind of bolster the market.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it through them if you were going to.
I'm just trying to get a sense of the validity of the prices. That's all.
Yeah. And kind of, here's a good place to go, is called Crypto Slam, and it gives you the overview of what these are going for. And let's see, so you can kind of see what your changes and what these sales are like per day. The crypto punks, I don't really, let's see, I'll see if I can find those later. But these are the actual different like projects. You can look at each of the different ones. I don't know why crypto punks is not on here. But yeah, the prices are getting pretty ridiculous for those. We're talking like you could buy a home. And so anyway, so this is kind of the Ethereum space. It's dominated by Ethereum, and Solana has gotten popular in the last like 2 months, and the price of Solana has gone up a lot, and there's a lot of brand new projects and things like that. And so I'll show you real quick, if you want to get involved and purchase an NFT on OpenSea, here's my account, and I bought some this week. I don't have a ton of Ethereum ones. I have a lot of friends who are really into it, and they have a bunch of them. But I'll show you ones I bought this week, and this would be something that if you want to, they only cost $100. These are called lockdown lemmings, and these are just little characters that are randomly generated. They're super cute, and they sold out pretty quick once people figured out about them. And it's just like this character, and then the properties of the character are all here, and so the percentage of rarity for that trait is here. And then you can go on and look at the different markets. And
that looks extremely familiar, like a Beanie Baby or
like a
something.
Furby. Yeah, like a Furby. Okay. And so then here's where you would buy and sell, and you have them all listed here, and you can go by trait and find out which one you want. Usually what you want to look at is the floor price. This is about $100. This is what it costs to mint one. So really you can buy one now for what the mint was. There was 10,000 at the very beginning. One second, I gotta take a look at my phone here. I got a work call coming in. Okay, cool. And all right, so then this is what I'll call the Ethereum part of the world. The Ethereum part of the world, if you guys remember about a year ago when NFTs got really, really big and I would say popular, then these are a lot of the projects that came out of after that period, because it takes probably 6 months to a year to kind of build out a project. And so a lot of the projects here on Ethereum are much, much better than Solana projects. They're larger teams, a lot more thought's been put into them. The problem with Ethereum is the high gas fees that you pay when you're trying to mint any NFT. And so I think their average transaction is like $15 right now. But if you want to mint an NFT, I think it's gonna cost like $100 just to mint on Ethereum during kind of like regular hours. You could like set an alarm and get up at 2 a.m. and it might be cheaper, but that's kind of a problem with the underlying blockchain that they'll figure out over time. It doesn't cost any money to buy and sell on OpenSea. You just have to pay a one-time mint fee to initiate your wallet. After that, you don't have to pay when you buy one or sell one. Okay, let's see. So yeah, here's the three that I got. This is their website, this is their Twitter. So if you want to get into it, you have to get a Twitter account and you have to follow it on Twitter. This is kind of the world for NFTs. And
Is that how they do KYCs via, they're relying upon the Twitter?
no, I mean, because
integrity?
You can be anonymous on Twitter too.
Yeah.
So then this is their website. And then to follow any of these projects, you have to look them up on Discord and follow the development teams. And this is kind of what's interesting about the space. I'll show you my Discord real quick, which I've gotten good at because you have to. And so this is the Lockdown Lemmings Discord. And these are large groups. And so everybody gets in here and discusses the project. You can talk to the developers and other people interested. A lot of teams have been developed for new projects through Discord. A couple of these are pretty good. Like a lot of these are Solana projects that I've met some developers who are interested in doing new projects on Discord. And so you have to get good with Discord if you're going to kind of like get in early on some of these. Okay, so that's that Discord. And then we'll jump over to Solana now. They think the Solana community thinks they're like a really big community, but they're really small in comparison to the Ethereum crowd. Solana itself has put a lot of effort into a new hackathon and to doing NFTs specifically. So there's been a large amount of projects that have just come out on Solana. The quality of them is relatively low. There are a couple cooler ones. This one is kind of like a copy of the Bored Ape Yacht Club of Ethereum, but there's a little bit different. This is their one of their exchanges called Solonart. What's cool to see is that this has completely changed in 2 weeks. So there's been a lot of development activity, a lot of money, and developers are here working on things. So this has gotten infinitely better in just 2 weeks. And so they have like price histories you can look at for all of these items and stuff like that. This floor price, this is kind of interesting, is 60 Sol, which is a lot of money. I don't know what Solana is right now. It's almost 10K just to buy, let's see what Solana is. So it's 160. Just to buy one, you're looking at like 7 to 10K. One of these things. I got 2 of these originally, like right away, and then I just sold them like a couple days later. Should not have done that. Should not have done that. But now this is kind of a group that's now formed into a DAO, and they have a lot of, they've changed their roadmap to incorporate a game and a lot of products. And they're one of the central driving groups on the Solana side. And so to get involved with that, you just have to follow them here on their Discord. They do a pretty good job with the UI. And so on their site, I can show you that real quick. Well, I don't want to waste too much time on that. So some of the larger projects coming to Solana here's one called Star Atlas, which is built on the Unreal 5 engine, which is brand new. It's about a 2-year time frame, but it's like a whole large metaverse. It's very hugely hyped, and they've got like full on media. So this is a huge project. It's about 2 years out. There's going to be a lot of larger high profile projects, and as soon as these start to like stick, I think the Solana blockchain is really going to take off. Kind of pulling in developers and things like that is tricky. And so that's where, if you're interested in looking to buy one, I would start on Solana. It's a little bit cheaper, and then use their wallet, which is a lot easier to use. I can show you an example of my wallet here, and I'll show you just what it looks like to have one like on sale. So here's my wallet, and then I go to on sale. I put it up on sale yesterday, this is kind of interesting, Jay. There's music artists doing music, and with like generated from a computer, and then they have like generated sounds. And so I bought one yesterday, and it's kind of dumb, but I put up for sale. But if you click on this, it should actually like play the sound that you own. So now I own a sound, Jay. I know that it might not be a coveted item now, but this is my own. You hear that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I own that, Jay.
nice. You should incorporate that into your voicemail.
Right.
After Chad's tone, leave your message.
Well, and if you're going to use it, I'm going to charge you because I own it. So this is something like techno artist guy, and he developed 2,000 of them and put them on sale, and I bought them. It's probably dumb, but it was unique. Like nobody else has done it, and so I was like, I'll just get one. So I put it up for sale, and then we'll see. I don't know if anybody's going to buy it. Apparently, the red background is rare. I haven't looked too much into it yet. So that's kind of what it looks like. The Phantom wallet is cool to use on this. Let's see if I can pull that up.
And what is a Phantom wallet?
It is the wallet for Solana. And so
Okay.
You have your collectibles in here, and you can like click on them, and it'll give you like the information and all of that. This is how you kind of like manage the wallet. And so the reason I want to show the wallet is that interacting with a wallet is one of the trickier development things to do. And it takes oftentimes around 6 months to do the general interaction with the blockchain to pull up new users so they can connect their wallet, and then you can pull that data onto your front end website. And so there's one new tool that does a lot of that in a cloud framework called Moralis. And so I'll kind of switch over to kind of like some development pathways if people are interested in kind of what I would do if I was going to build a project. Is I would look into something like Moralis, where they do the indexing and connect to the underlying blockchain for you. And this is a cloud-based infrastructure piece that links to the underlying blockchain and does the linking users' wallets and tracking all of that data that needs to be pulled and indexed from the blockchain, and pulls it up onto the front end site. And it does all of that for you. And so I think this is kind of one of the cooler new infrastructure pieces. And this is, they're building out the Solana piece now. They do Ethereum, Binance Chain, and Polygon right now. And so this is kind of a get up and running quickly, which I think in the crypto space or NFT space is critical, is to get things moving quickly. Because if it takes you 6 months to develop your idea, the space could have already pivoted away from what your idea was. You kind of have to get something up fast and then move with the space as the technology changes. And so there's that one. And then here's another guy that I follow. His name's Nader Dabit. He used to work at AWS. You remember we were looking into like Amplify on AWS, Jay?
Yeah.
So this is an AWS developer, and he moved over. He quit that job. I watched the interview with him. I follow him. He said he quit that job, and now he works in cryptos, which I think is an interesting trend you'll see for guys under 30 who work at these large companies. Is they'll end up moving. And I was like shocked when he moved, because his infrastructure job at AWS was pretty lucrative. But so now he works for a blockchain company, and he wrote this guide on how to develop on Solana. And so I read through this, and using his framework, I think would be a good idea if you were going to do a lot of the code yourself. And so those are kind of like those two paths.
Hey, Chad, can you share the links in some form or fashion put them in the chat or something like that, or there's been a request for these links, basically.
Can I send it to you after I'm done?
Yeah, that'll be fine. And then I can add it to the
Yeah.
video notes.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's jump over to here's regarding the real estate thing. This is kind of an interesting project. I have a lot of friends who follow a lot of stuff, and one of my friends brought this to my attention. It's a skyscraper where you or roommates going together to mint and own a piece of the skyscraper. And it's called the Tower. And so this is kind of like a model for what could be a real estate investment. It's a digital tower right now. And you get like design traits in the interior and stuff like that. And so it's not real, but it could very easily in the future be a real, let's see, a real estate tower, and you can do ownership through it. They have a picture of it. I don't know where it's at right now. But this is kind of one of the cool new projects that I'll probably try and buy a room in the tower with my friends.
And this is an actual project, an actual piece of real estate?
No, it's not. It's digital right now, but you
Okay.
could conceivably easily port it over to a real life tower if you're building one.
So it's a digital tower
It's a digital tower right now. Yeah.
that theoretically could apply to a tower of molecules if
Yeah.
somebody actually built it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so then here's another one called Metaplex. A lot of Solana projects use, and it'll help you get a quick storefront up and helps you with minting your NFTs. This is getting a lot bigger. It's really, really fast. And so I think if you're just more on the art side and you're interested in kind of like building a storefront or something like that, this would be a good place to look to. Does anybody have kind of like any questions? Here's a good interview with the creator of Solana. He's a very smart dude. I'll have that link for you guys as well.
Cool. I've got a question, like on these artistic digital art, like the Furbies, is anybody actually creating a physical Furby to ship out to?
I had a discussion. No, I thought instantly with this one, that is a very easy reality that they should consider trying to do. If I mean, right now, how NFTs are structured is that you're minting at the very beginning of these projects, and these NFTs is like you're funding money. It's like seed money. And so depending on how well it goes and the popularity, you can kind of do more if you make more money. And I think in particular, this project, they should send you one of these for your exact Furby deal. Because these ones, it's kind of easy to do. And it would be kind of a pairing of real life assets with a digital asset, which I think is where the space is going to go for sure.
Yeah, and are you going to touch upon the regulatory issues? Because, raising money to then create the project, that's been a point of contention, at least with like library.
Yeah, well, there are no regulatory issues because there's no regulations right now. And so, I mean, we can kind of get into kind of the pitfalls, but there are no rules as of yet. And so like you'll see on Solana, there's a ton of projects that are just copies with a different animal that essentially are just money grabs. And so that's kind of one of the pitfalls now, is that like most of these, I don't think will do anything. You kind of have to do some research into the community and find out who the developers are. And by find out, I mean, get their real names. If they aren't sharing their real names, then watch out. So it's not really a serious investment, not serious, but you should never be using any like important money. Like don't leverage any of your future 401k on this. Also, there's a lot of scams with people trying to get you to, they'll copy websites and then send you a link, and the link will like take all your money out of your wallet. On this launch for this project right here, which is a video game, the scammers got like $5 million because they got people to click on a fake mint link.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was kind of interesting. A friend of mine just lost about $10,000 this last week on one of these scams. So there's a lot of pitfalls in the space right now.
So can you describe some of the things that you're careful about and how you want to make sure you protect yourself?
Do not answer anything in Discord that comes in a direct message. So here's my Discord profile. If there's somebody messaging,
No link, right?
if they have a link to your direct message, so like me personally, like any of these, if it comes in here and it's a link, this is where you would do it. And this is what happened to my friend and everybody else. So just, you can turn off direct messages to you. So just don't click any links in here. Also, you can save yourself a lot by in your wallet. Solana is real, like this wallet's great, but you can turn off the auto approved transaction so that like if you want to buy something quick, it's nice, you just can click here and then the money goes. So it doesn't ask you like a challenge, hey, do you really want to send your money? You want to have that turned on to validate a lot of these transactions so that when you click on a link, the money just doesn't go. And so that's a setting in here that you can turn on and off. So having that on is a really good idea. But for the most part, it's just kind of like a new space. And so there's going to be scammers out there and you just have to be careful. But those are the only two paths, is mainly on Discord. So any other?
What are some of the bigger trends you see coming down the line here?
Oh,
in the future?
the DAOs are being created out of these groups. And so a lot of like this one right here, the DGen Ape Academy, they've created a DAO, and the CryptoPunks, that's a DAO.
Could you define what DAO is?
So decentralized autonomous organization.
Okay.
And so what they do is they make partnerships with product companies to develop merchandise for their brand. They make partnerships with like gaming companies to make a game. And then you as an owner of one of these NFTs gives you a percentage of the proceeds gained from that DAO. And so there's some big name ones, like one is called Metaverse Heroes, has huge benefits to just owning one and being in the group. And
So it's kind of like the structural functional aspect of how to get the thing done. The DAO.
Yeah. And you're kind of forming an investment group together that has a product, and your product is your NFT. And so this team, I think there's 10,000 of these like apes or whatever, but their DAO is anybody who owns one is in it, and it gives you privileges and stuff like that. And that's kind of why the prices go up, and you'll see a lot of people actually paying a lot just to have one, just so that you're in the group. And so
I've gained from some information I reviewed that there's some kind of a rating system that's on the NFTs as well that you need to be aware of, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a whole nother kind of aspect is like rarity tools. So
Right.
And these are some new sites that I think are really cool. And basically they have a way of ranking yours based on the rarity of each of the assets. Some of these will do it themselves on their own website, but these are kind of like the trusted, and they give you a rank from, most rare to least rare from 1 to 10,000. And so this can give you an idea of how rare yours is and where to price it. And so you can see kind of like the last sale, like these have gone up for a lot of money. Jeez.
And you were showing earlier that you can chart out or graph the sales of your particular, if you own an NFT, what it's been sold for in the past, or how many times, et
You
cetera.
can do that here on
Okay.
on how rare it is. You can, and then the one on like Solana Art or on OpenSea, you can see your particular NFT or the whole market for that particular one. So this is like sales history. Getting the information is in a weird space right now because everybody's trying to like incorporate better data to the front end. And so that'll be kind of fleshed out over the next, like year about where to go for information. And on the Solana side, it's a little bit harder. OpenSea pretty much has everything you could want in regards to data. So yeah, that's basically all I had. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Is this a Brave browser? What is this browser?
This is Brave, yeah.
You're using Brave?
Yeah, I use Brave all the time for crypto stuff. I like it.
Are you minting coins or the Brave?
What?
You can mint Brave coins, right? Coins too. Like
Oh no, I don't. Yeah, I don't have like any Brave tokens, but they integrate with wallets really well. So like the MetaMask and Phantom Wallet.
Cool. No, that's awesome. Do you have any thoughts on a project that you could use that could sort of be NFT centric for this ARC program, Chad?
Oh, the real estate one?
Well, not necessarily real estate, could be anything basically, but any thoughts? And maybe you don't, I don't know. A project that people could create and then apply for the ARC funding.
Oh, for that's a two-year funding, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the 2 years is a long time in the crypto space.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part with that particular one because of how the funding is structured. You would want to get something launched right away and then develop over 2 years, in my opinion, instead of like work for 2 years to have an end product done at the end of that time frame, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
And so I think in particular, it might be tricky with NFTs just because of how that time frame is set up. Because if you want the money right away, start all at the beginning, and then change, over the 2 year period with how the NFT space is changing. Because I can kind of see how it's going, but you can't really predict these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense because it's moving really fast.
Yeah.
Eric, you're on Zoom. Do you have any questions for Chad regarding NFTs or real estate, or you're interested in real estate?
Yeah. I don't have anything specific right now, Jay. Chad, thanks for that. I learned a lot. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, cool. Hey, AJ, I'm sorry. I have to hop off. I'm on call for work and I just got a work call. And so sorry, I have to leave so abruptly, but I'll send you the links. After probably like an hour, but I have to log on to my real
Cool.
job.
I'll add the links to the bottom of the YouTube.
Side fun job. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Thanks, Chad. It was good.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, Eric, anything you want to say about the ARC funding or anything?
No, has anybody come up with any other?
No other projects so far. You went on mute, by the way, Eric.
Yeah, I just said I'm interested in helping support the matching funding requirement if somebody wants to play there. So,
okay,
through groups or partnerships.
Okay. Well, we'll have our session on Wednesday night, the 22nd at 7 o'clock, and you can talk about that. Potential for the matching funding and making an application and forming a team and all that sort of thing. So, but no, we're pretty much where we were at last week regarding the participation and so forth. And yeah, we'll see what transpires. So, any other questions for Eric or comments from the group here?
Hey, Jay, I keep getting cut off, so I'll just, I have a bad connection here, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you Wednesday night, Eric. And if anyone has, a project you'd like to present Wednesday night, or an idea, or you've got a team and you're interested in having other people join the team, or you need matching funding, that sort of thing, just let me know and we can carve out some space for you Wednesday night. And then next week, we'll have another session, or we're planning to. So you can look for the meetup. And if you see a meetup that's dated for the following week, then you'll know that we're skipping a week. And I know that's kind of breaking the regularity of the meetup, but we'll issue a meetup for whatever the next date is for our open house and so forth. So with that, I'm going to sign off and thank you all for joining, and we'll look forward to you participating in future events. Have a good day.